In his August media chat, FCT Minister Yesufu Wike heavily criticized your principal, Mr. Peter Obi, dismissing his presidential ambitions and accusing him of political opportunism, cheap populism, and politics of sentiments. You know, Wike further claimed that Obi lacks, using his own words, not my words, I have serious respect, deep respect for Mr. Peter Obi. This is Wike's words, that Mr. Peter Obi lacks the genuine leadership capacity required to guide Nigeria, arguing that his public persona does not match his governance track record. How do you respond to this?
Mr. Wike is a mere appointee. When he becomes a presidential candidate and he makes that statement, I will respond to him. Right now, it's a waste of my time.
He's the FCT minister. And
he's an FCT minister, but a mere appointee.
Is determined to deliver FCT where he presides over. And River State, the second most important state in Nigeria, well, maybe the third, after Lagos and Kano, is determined to deliver it to the president in 2020. So you don't think his comments matter?
It's not. His comment doesn't mean anything. It's not worth it. It's just a mere appointee who has to, do what is called boy for his principal. So I do understand with him. He's not worth any response. When he becomes the presidential candidate, definitely we get a response. As of now, everybody can talk now. No be to talk. Talk is cheap.
Okay, so you're not perturbed about...
No, I'm not. With Mr. Wike, no now, Abba. If he, Mr. Wike, I said I'm an appointee. Let's see if he said it. Even for River State, they send a message.
He stopped an incumbent governor from seeking re-election.
That one, you wait till our people, they call MU, because he brought in this thing. Forget that thing. Let him go to Rivers and talk. It's a mere appointee. There's nothing. It's not a threat. He's just saying things. When he becomes someone that it's really, I will respond, but as of now, it's waste of time. Yeah.
From what you said now, Madam Aisha, so you actually believe that President Tinubu is a walkover in next year's election?
If I don't believe it, why would I be? Why would I be sitting with you? I would have been outside traveling around the world. I was actually tired traveling. When you were calling me to come and do it, I wasn't in this country. I was going around. I would have just been traveling around the world. Why would I come and sit and be part of the election if I don't believe that Tinubu will be defeated?
Do you actually understand, understand the capacity of the man, President Bola Ahmed? Do you understand the sheer capacity? When I mean capacity, I'm saying the length he's willing to go to.
I understand the evilness he's willing to go to.
No, I didn't say evil.
Aisha Yesufu said so. Are you the one? Let me have my interview now. Now you fear. No talk now. Don't bring me to this thing. I understand his level to go as evil as anything. And I've always said, if you want to defeat evil, you must think evil, but you must have the discipline not to do evil. But if you tell me in terms of capacity, where is it on the ground? 3 years. He's been your president for over 3 years. Where is the capacity? You see, let me tell you something. Tinubu had every opportunity because nobody expected, most people did not expect much from him. When less is expected of you, when you do little things, people will clap and say, he had opportunity to put himself on the path of doing good for people so that people will would have been saying things like, even though he rigged election, but he couldn't do that. When you are in government, re-election is not the time for you to be selling yourself to the people. The day you are sworn into office is the day you begin to sell yourself to the people by the work that you have done. Even simple thing. This is someone who we've known him, quote and unquote, to be a billionaire, even in dollars, they say his own money. How the money came about, I don't know, but this is what we know. What do you come and you are needing presidential yacht? You are needing presidential aircraft. You're needing renovation of this, of that, of monies being this thing. When people are dying of hunger, you couldn't do that. So what capacity are you telling me? But let me tell you something. If the question you're trying to ask me is that whether I'm afraid of Tinubu winning, no. Tinubu is easier to defeat today than it was in 2023 when we defeated him.
Let me put the question in a different way. Madam Aisha, have you seen in recent memory in this Fourth Republic, this is the fifth president, Obasanjo, Yar'Adua, Jonathan, Buhari, and then now President Tinubu. The 4 previous presidents, have you seen any of them? Even Obasanjo, who was a retired military general, former head of state, same with President Buhari, retired former head of state, retired military general. Did any of the 4 previous presidents bestride the landscape, the nation's landscape, have all critical institutions under lock, stock, and barrel? Have you seen any one of them? Control every lever of government. Control governors. I mean, state leaders, state rulers, let me use the word Nigerians love to use, rulers in their own rights. Cower them into submission. Have you?
Oh my goodness. You know one of the things I'm thinking about, I'm like, before we started this interview, I should have made sure that I was also doing this recording so that I'll have a raw this thing and I'll edit the ones I'll put on my YouTube.
We don't edit our videos though. Except maybe one or two things.
Let me, because I really want this thing that I'm going to say to you, I really want it out there. First of all, Mr. Tinubu is one person that does not have the courage to put in people in office or in position that are better than him or bigger than him. That is the behavior of a coward. So what you always want is to have people that are less than you, that cannot stand up. So this is how Tinubu operates. He looks for someone who ordinarily would never get into a position, right? And he puts that person in position. And you must not dare to aspire beyond what he has given you aspiration for. So by putting in people whom, like in my own place, they say MU. My people is akpopo mo, ego bi akpopo mo kind of people in position, then you can be able to lock them down.
What does that mean in English, please?
Akpopo mo, like, you know what MU or like all there. Person when they say they no get head like
Mugu.
that.
Nigerians
Mugu. No, when they say person for Mugu,
yes,
okay,
exactly.
Let's say Mugu, exactly. Yes, in the palace of exactly. Mugu. So you put them in position for you to be able to control them, and then whatever it is you say to them, that they do. So courage is that's not courage. That's being cowardly. For example, Obasanjo had the courage to be able to put people in office that he knows will look him in the eye and say, "Oga, this is not how it's going to be." He didn't do that. So doing the thing in a way that it's wrong, then you lock down the system. Is that what we should be applauding? For example, with an Obasanjo, he had people who will come out like a Nasiru El-Rufai. You saw him, coconut head. He did a lot of
even
things.
I'm
going to that. He did a lot of things. To the extent Obasanjo had to go to the National Assembly and say, "You people, please, it's not his fault. I take responsibility." Exactly. That's a leader who is courageous, who is not afraid, who does not have insecurity issues. Because Tinubu has insecurity issues. He's not the man he thinks he is. Let me put it that way. You have to be a manly man. And you have nothing to prove for you to be able to put people who can stand up to you. That's what some of those leaders, and I'm going to do with Obasanjo. You saw Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, who even went to them and said, when they were doing their third term agenda thing, and they put her name or whatever in one of the videos, went to them and said, no. They stood in front of you and said, "Oh God, don't go for this third term." These are people with courage. You then will not take it as someone who brings in people and say, "Just sit where I put you. Anywhere you are going is where I tell you to go." If you dare to go above it, you then in problem. We saw what happened with Fashola, right? Fashola's first term. After his first term, when he was going for a re-election, literally, if it was not Lagos people that stood and said, "No, this man, he has been working for us, he probably would not have gotten his son." We saw what happened, with Ambode. The thing with Tinubu is that he will look for, and you've seen it even in some of the appointments that he has made. People that ordinarily are not deserving or anything, should not even be in that place. Put them there, you know that it's not your capacity that brought you here. It's not your whatever. It's the fact that I want you, so you must play ball. That's the difference. Is that what has worked for the country? Is that what I should not sit down and be afraid of? Someone that is even insecure in himself has to have people that he can be the one to say, "I'm better than those people." A good leader, you know what a good leader does? A good leader looks for people who are better than him or her. so that they will, and gives them a vision, they will go with it and they will go on with it. The kind of room that Obasanjo, if I look at the current national security advisor, he was the reason why I got my voter's card in 2011. I always said this story. But today, even if he comes to run for councillor, I will not even vote for him.
You're speaking of Nuhu Ribadu.
Yes, he knows. I've said it to him several times when we've met. Nuhu Ribadu, yes. Because during when he was EFCC chairman, the things he did,
the passion,
you understand, integrity, exactly. Standing against all these people who were corrupt. He was doing in EFCC what Dora Akuyili was doing in NAFDAC. So like, know, I was like, wow. You know, even standing up to Delta when they tried to bribe him, was it with how many $1 million? In those days, he said no, all of those things.
James Ibori.
So, James Ibori. So when he was running for president, because for me, the first time I voted was 1993. So when that election was cancelled, I voted for MKO Abiola. When the election was cancelled, right? I was like, I will never vote again in Nigeria, because I was so excited. That was my first time of vote. I was 19 at that time. Yes, now I can vote. I can decide who becomes president of Nigeria and who governs Nigeria. Then it was, when it was cancelled, I vowed I would never vote again. So I didn't vote in 1998, 1999, when this thing was coming. I didn't vote in 2003. I didn't vote in 2007. Then 2011, I voted. Why? Because Nuhu Ribadu was a presidential candidate. I was like, okay, yes, we have someone who is courageous and great. So I campaigned for him in my little way. Where I was, I voted, I voted for him. But today, I'm not going to. Why am I saying this? You see the way those people could act. Because they are leaders who don't have insecurity, who are manly in themselves, who know they are who they say they are. And so even if they have someone in their team standing up and being strong, they are not threatened. Tinubu is threatened by anybody's manliness or womanliness. So he wants to be the oga in the room. He is not who he says who he thinks he is. And you see it that being reflected. But there's always one thing that I've said in the way that, Mr. Tinubu has acted and done things in the last 3 years. It makes me think that there might be something, because of course, his root, nobody knows his root. Nobody knows who he is. Nobody knows what the truth, whatever, blah, blah, blah is. There might be something that was done to him, whether Nigeria did to him or some elders in Nigeria did to him, that now he's at the place where he needs to punish Nigeria.
Pay back.
That's you suffer where I suffer as a child. You people, you showed me, you didn't, you made me to be nothing. There's this thing that no matter how big your account is, if you don't have the wealth of the mind, Hausa people called it Arzikin Zuciya. If you're not there inside, you can't be inside. You always feel that, like that little. I always see him sometimes even when he's talking and the way he comes about like this little insecure boy that was treated anyhow, and then up till now he's still feeling that. Well, sometimes that's why I feel so.